Hey guys, it's Becca from inabookshell. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you're new. This is the first video that I'm filming in my dorm, and I'm like super nervous about it because I feel like the people next to me, the rooms next to me, can probably hear me talking about books and Noah Centineo. Yeah, I figured out how to say his name. I feel like my voice is probably really quiet because I'm trying not to be too loud. Anyways, today I'm going to be filming a video that I feel like not a lot of you guys thought I was actually going to make. Because yeah, the movie came out like August 17th. A long time has since passed since the movie has officially came up on Netflix. Today we are going to be talking about the To All the Boys I've Loved Before movie review.
Yay, the movie finally came out!
For those of you that don't know and that have not read the books, To All the Boys I Loved Before was actually books. I have talked to people on my floor that have watched the movie on Netflix but did not know that it was a book, which is just, I don't know, I guess it's because I'm a reader, so the fact that people don't know that this movie was actually a book, it's just weird to me in my head.
How did you not know this was a book?
But it's okay. It's okay. It's about this girl named Lara Jean and her love letters getting sent out to all these boys. I feel like a lot of people in the book world were really nervous but really excited for this movie to come out because since it is a book, it is so cherished and beloved to all of us book lovers that we don't want the movie people to mess up this book movie adaptations. We've been burned so many times in the past. Mortal Instruments, Percy Jackson. When you make our book into a movie, I mean, we're gonna be a little bit skeptical. So for those of you guys haven't read the books or watched the movie, you need to go do that. I prefer that you read the books before you watch the movie, but if you don't want to do that, definitely go and watch the movie and support this author and her books becoming a movie, because honest review, this movie was 5 out of 5 stars. So good. They did make changes. Stuff that didn't happen in the book happened in the movie. Stuff happened in the book that they made in the movie that happened in a different way. But I feel like it was very tasteful. Like, I knew exactly what was going on. I enjoyed it so much. It's such a cute little rom-com movie, and I'll just get into all the stuff that I liked about it right about now. So if you haven't read the books, go read the books. If you haven't watched the movie, then just go watch the movie. It's so flipping good and so cute, and I loved it so much. That is it for the non-spoilery section. That's all I'm gonna say about the movie. So if you haven't watched the movie, go watch the movie and then you can come back and we'll discuss the movie together. Okay guys, August 17th, we're going back to that time. I woke up so early in the morning to watch this movie. I still hadn't made my Netflix account. So that morning I woke up super early, made my Netflix account, and I had the first month free, which it is still free. I still need to pay for it. I watched that movie probably about 4 times in the span of 2 days. Yeah. I loved the very beginning of the movie when we started off and Lara Jean is just imagining herself and Josh in a field of desire. Wow, Lara Jean. Wow. I loved her dress. I thought it was super cute. I wish we still live in a time where we could wear dresses like that, but sadly we don't. And I loved how it just stopped because Kitty threw a pillow in her face and she's like, what are you doing? One of like the most awkward scenes of this entire movie was when Josh gave Margot that plane ticket and he's like,
surprise! I'm coming to Scotland.
That was literally so awkward to watch. Like, it was hard to watch because I could feel the awkwardness and the tension in the room, especially when Margot was like,
Did you already pay for this?
yikes, oh my god, can we not do this in front of the entire family? And I love how we can feel that tension and that awkwardness because it makes the film feel more real to us. Like, whenever a film or a book can make us feel emotions, you know that you're reading the right book or you're watching the right movie. Another thing I really loved about this movie was that we have Lara Jean's voiceover, and a lot of the times in book to movie adaptations, you can't really understand what's going on. You don't really understand the character's emotions in a movie, because in the book it's different because you're reading how she feels. You're not watching it. You're feeling everything because you're reading how she's feeling. But in a movie it's different because you're watching it all play out instead of reading it, so you don't really know how she feels. So I really loved how they put her voiceover because it made you understand her character better. It made you really like her character better in the movie. Lara Jean's room was so flippin' adorable. Like, the way that they designed her room was so Lara Jean, and I loved it. And I love that part where her and Margot are like in her bed and they're talking about how Margot just broke up with Josh. The inevitable, I know. Margot's just like pretty much just lecturing Lara Jean, and then Lara Jean's just like, can we go back to talking about how you're sad now? I felt like the dialogue in this movie was just very natural and just very true to the book. So I felt like when I was watching the movie, I was actually seeing my book play out, and it was so great. Speaking about designing things, I thought Lara Jean's wardrobe was literally the cutest thing ever. I wish I had her style. I want to know where the stylist got all her clothes, because I want her clothes. I want to wear Lara Jean clothes every single day of my life. Another thing that I completely adored about this movie, who else thought that the music that they played throughout this entire movie was so great? It just fit the movie so great. I need someone to get me a playlist because I loved every single song that they played in this movie. I felt like it fit every single scene in the movie perfectly. One of my favorite scenes in the beginning of this movie was when Lara Jean just backs up without even looking behind her, like in the car, and Kitty has her helmet on, and Peter's the guy that she almost ran over. He just awkwardly comes to the window and he's like, hey, you know, you're supposed to look back to make sure there's nobody there so you don't kill them. Lana definitely played her part well in that scene, because Lara Jean would definitely be so awkward in that situation, because Lara Jean is really good with being invisible, and in that moment she's not invisible because she almost ran over a person. She played that awkwardly. Every single part in this book she played perfectly. I feel like she stuck true to Lara Jean's character, because Lara Jean and her awkwardness and her cutiness just came out, and I loved seeing it so much. I feel like she played that part so well. So now let's talk about when the letters finally came out. So they changed a little bit from the books. In the book, Peter approaches her in the school hallway. In the movie, he approached her on the track field when she's running in gym. Definitely not what happened in the book, but it flowed in a way. One of you guys commented on my last video when I was talking about how I didn't understand why they changed that part. And one of you guys said it was because Noah couldn't pick up Lara Jean, because, you know, Lara Jean runs up and kisses him because she sees Josh. Still sticks with the premise of the book and the awkwardness that what happened was crazy, and then she kisses him because she sees Josh, and I love that part so much because Noah just like, oh, we'll talk about Noah playing Peter. He was amazing. The dialogue, the way that he talked, like, was so Peter. Him just coming up to her and be like, this isn't gonna happen. Like, I'm so flattered, but it's not gonna happen. That is so Peter at the beginning of the book. I definitely loved seeing Ginny Han at the freshman homecoming cameo. She was like one of the chaperones. It was so funny seeing her. I didn't even like think I was gonna see her in this movie, so just seeing that little snippet of her was so cool and so funny. Another one of my favorite parts was when, after Lara Jean escapes to the little cafe because Josh was about to approach her about the letter, so she runs off. She sees Peter there, and their little banter was literally the cutest thing ever. One of my favorite like scenes, like dialogue scenes, was when she was like, Peter, I don't like you. And he's like,
really? Because your mouth is saying one thing, but then your mouth was saying a totally different thing.
He's so funny. I loved it so much. Totally a laugh out loud scene. But if you want to know my favorite scene in this whole entire movie, was when Lara Jean and Peter walks into the cafeteria. I feel like the music just playing when they were just, you know, walking was perfect. And then of course he has his hand in her back pocket, which was so cute just seeing that. And then he just like spins her, does that little spin thing. So cute. My favorite scene ever. I loved it so much. I know I'm saying that I love this so much, but this movie was just so great. I loved this movie. It was perfect. I love this movie so much that I would write a letter to this movie telling them how I love them so much, and then I would take that letter and I would put it in a hat box and I would put it underneath my bed. That's how much I love this movie. I also recently learned that Noah Centineo, he actually came up with that scene, like when he spins her around, like he came up with that. The writers did not tell him to do that. He came up with that. Pure genius. Another one of my favorite scenes was when her dad drops her off for the little ski trip and he just hands her a bag full of protection, and oh my god. Everything between all the characters just felt very natural. Even Noah and Lana's chemistry together just felt very natural, very real. A lot of the times in movies, the chemistry between two characters that are supposed to be love interests, it just feels forced and stuff. But in this movie, it definitely didn't feel forced. It was adorable and it was natural and it felt real. Oh, I just remember one of my other favorite parts, her dad. When her dad was talking to Peter because Peter was taking her to a party and she goes off to change and her dad's like, no drinking, no drugs, no hands. So he promises her dad like no drinking, no drugs, no hands, but then at the party he gives her a drink. He gets her like beer. So like he lied. Okay, let's talk about the hot tub scene. What I loved about this scene, this was the very first kiss scene, and the chemistry was very off the charts for these two characters. I especially love the part where Noah just like slapped the water because she was being ridiculous and she wasn't understanding that he actually liked her, and he was trying to tell her that he liked her but she wasn't understanding it. Yeah, that was like the best part, I feel like, in the book, because they finally like admitted to each other that they liked each other. But then obviously all that had to be ruined because of Genevieve. The girl who played Genevieve played that part really well, because I did not like her. Because Genevieve was a very hard character to read in the book, and she was definitely a hard character to watch in the movie because she's so mean. One scene though that I was rolling my eyes at, I know that that's like really mean to say, but I was rolling my eyes at that one scene where Peter and Lara Jean have kind of broken up, right? Margot's home and they're making cookies and Peter shows up and he's trying to explain everything to her, which in books I really hate it. One of my pet peeves in books is when the characters, well, they can work out their problems if they just talk to each other. But obviously Lara Jean didn't want to talk to Peter, so this was the scene where Peter was going to talk to Lara Jean. He's trying to explain to her everything about Genevieve and all this stuff, and then freaking Josh just shows up, and the part that had me rolling my eyes in this was he had his freaking hood up. Like he just looked really stupid. I'm sorry, but like he did not look, I don't know what they were going with that scene, but with his hood up, it didn't look good. And then of course I really loved the end. I feel like the message in the movie, if you haven't read the book, was that you need to really be yourself and you need to tell people how you feel, and you need to go do things that you want to do and talk to the people that you want to talk to. Just do things that you want to do. They definitely changed the ending though, which I don't know if I like that. Of course I understand why they changed the ending, because in the book it's kind of left on a cliffhanger, because at the very end Peter and Lara Jean have not made up. She's just writing a letter to him and you don't know if they're going to get together or not. And for a long time people didn't know they were going to get together because we didn't know we were going to have a second book. But when I was watching it for the very first time, I didn't even notice that difference until I started really thinking about it and thinking about a sequel, and then remembering what the second book was like, remembering, wait a minute, wasn't in the second book Peter and them are still broken up? That's how the second book starts. But if you watch all the credits, John Ambrose McLaren shows up with his letter. The guy who plays John is super cute, and I'm hoping that we saw John Ambrose McLaren at the very end, because we are going to get a sequel. I want this movie to get a sequel. This movie needs a sequel. The first book they made into a really awesome movie. Just think about how great of a movie they'll be able to make into the second book. I don't remember, but I don't think Peter says that he loves her in the first book. Does he tell her that? Because I don't remember, and I don't have the book with me, so I can't check. I don't think he did. Correct me if I'm wrong. I saw something on Instagram the other day on one of those To All the Boys I've Loved Before fan accounts, and somebody made a parody about how many times Noah Centineo said whoa, 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 whoa in this movie. And then I was watching Sierra Burgess, you know, that movie that just came out on Netflix, that he's the main boy character in that movie too, and I noticed that he said whoa, whoa, whoa a lot in that movie too. So maybe it's just a Noah Centineo thing. Anyways, I love this movie. I give this movie, on my scale, a 5 out of 5 stars. I'm pretty easy to please when you do it right. This book to movie adaptation has got to be one of the best. I feel like the changes that they made were very slight. You could barely notice, because I barely noticed. Let me know down in the comments, did you like it or did you not like it? Did you get annoyed by the changes? Just like anything that you thought about this movie, just let me know in the comments below. Oh, like another thing, I just want to like talk about this for a second. People get so mad by the way that I say Lara Jean's name. Okay, I say her name Lara Jean. And I know in the movie they said it like, how do they say it? They said it like Lara Jean, is that right? But the only reason that I say her name like Lara Jean, I swear I get really mean comments because I say her name Lara Jean. I don't know, it really confused me in the movie when they said it like Lara, when in the book she says she doesn't say it like Lara. I don't care how you say her name, you guys shouldn't care how I say her name. In discussion, okay? Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys enjoyed this review. Again, make sure to comment, like, and subscribe, and follow me on all my social medias, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!